Before we begin this, if you like to support the channel and if you like to support me, guys, my PayPal will be in the description at the top. So thank you very much. Now, there was no cancellation for Magneto or for Immortal Naruto. Don't worry, I'm working on them, but as I said, only 3 would take place at a time. So this is the 3rd installment on this channel. So welcome back to Animaking 2. I'm back with something new, guys. What if Naruto was the Rootless Gojo Satoru, guys? I'm not talking about your standard Gojo Satoru. Let's develop Naruto with a different life. Mostly a neglectful one as well. And he awakened the 6 eyes and the Limitless Technique. However, let's take the curse energy, not the aspect of it. Let's take Jujutsu Kaisen curse energy and slam it together with chakra, creating something new. Imagine a being with a limitless technique, a being with the 6 eyes, and a new source of energy to boost. Well, this is what this Naruto will be getting, a much older, wiser, and ruthless individual. So let us see how this story will play out. So yes, if you want more, just comment down below and tell me. And let's begin now, guys. We begin this new series with 2 people, Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. You see, Kushina just found out that she was pregnant. This was approximately 3 years before. They wanted to start trying, so it was a surprise, as the both of them were, planning and thinking about the future. You see, 2 years ago, a young boy named Obito Uchiha was killed. On Minato's team, the team that he swore to protect and lead them and guide them. And approximately 7 months ago, Ren Nahara was killed by the hand of her own teammate. A desire that he never seeked, but Ren knew what would happen if she was brought back to the village. So to save so many innocent lives, she gave up her own. So yes, the situation there was complicated, complex. Learning that they were going to have a child early, they were considering their options. However, both of them had rather tragic past when it comes to their, livelihood, their parents. And they wanted to be here for this child. They wanted to do right by this child. Unfortunately though, fate just wasn't on their side, it seems. Time skip. Come on, you're stronger than this. You're stronger, a young boy said. All around him was destruction and chaos. You're far stronger than this. He was 8 years old. He had spiky, blonde hair, 3 whisker marks on both of his cheeks. He had blue eyes. He gazed down towards the girl, bleeding from the head and her back as well. Please, you promised me that the both of us will leave this place. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Open your eyes, he screamed. Frustration, sadness, and anger coursing through him. The true realization kicked in that she was gone, and he lost it. The life of Naruto Uzumaki, the son of Minato and Kushina. His parents died when he was a child, but he never knew this. He never knew who they were. He knew they were dead, but he didn't know who they were. He grew up within Konoha. He was ostracized, seen as a monster for reasons that he simply could not understand. He was treated badly. They fear him, and they wanted to get rid of him. You see, Naruto Uzumaki had a problem. It was his power. His chakra was strange, unstable, which allowed the power of the beast that was sealed inside of him to randomly emerge. 3 incidents where the 9-tailed chakra emerged, harming a lot, even killing 3 people. It was the power of the fox. Naruto was taken to many specialists. Something was wrong with him. They could not truly understand what was it. The seal was intact, but the power that was dripping into his system that was supposed to be something to aid him for the future, some problem was there. A source that they couldn't understand. The Hokage was forced to tell him where that power came from. His whole world was shattered right there. Shocked he was. However, the villagers, they came together. They need to get him out of here. They need to get rid of the boy. Because the Hokage was planning on doing shit. They were angry. Public view was turning against the Hokage. They believed that he was just going to watch as more of them were slaughtered. A group was formed. They came together and hired someone from the outside to get rid of the boy. And just like that, Naruto Uzumaki was kidnapped and taken away from his home. No one knew about the beast that he contained. No one knew about the seal on his stomach. All was told was they should get rid of the child. He was left in the middle of nowhere, far, 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 far away from Konoha. They knew that the possibility of death was greater than anything else. He had no food, no water. But the villagers chose their life, believing that if something was not done, well, they would die. They hated him, they wanted to get rid of him. On his way there, Naruto was slipping in and out of consciousness. The drug that was in his system not working that well. And Naruto heard. Even the kidnapper was surprised that they would do this to a child, but he was getting paid so much. Naruto heard what the villagers did. When he woke up, his desire was not to go back to the village. Everyone there hated him after all. Perhaps the Hokage did not, but still. Naruto left. He was attacked by animals, wild, ferocious beasts. And then he was kidnapped, bound and thrown into a caravan with a lot of other children his age. Some older, some even younger. And he was 5 years old at the time. After that, it was pure hell. Naruto was put through hell, forced to do labor, forced to work, as he was sold off, him and several others. The final compound that Naruto was sold off to, he met someone. At first, the both of them never get along. After all, life here was hell, and everyone was miserable. But none of them had the power to fight back. None of them had the strength. Time after time again, Naruto tried to awaken the power of the beast inside of him. But he failed. He tried to release that power so that he could run away. But he failed. He tried to fight, but he failed. Time after time again, his spirit kept on breaking. More and more and more and more. There was no hope. There was nothing left for him. For the rest of his life, he would be forced to serve. For 2 years, he suffered that hell. Until he met her. She was a prisoner just like him. However, Naruto knew that girls did not last long in this place. They were always sold off. However, she had a scar on her face, a rather large scar. Naruto believed that was the reason why she was here for so long. However, that was a blessing because at least no one was harming her here. Being here for 2 years, Naruto understood the true depths of these places and how horrible they could be. At first, they never spoke, they never got along. However, one night he saw her. He saw a look in her eyes, like hope. He believed that there was no longer any hope in this world, that it was theoretically impossible, but She seemed so hopeful. He spoke to her that night. He learned her name. Her name was Hikiri. Trauma could really bring people together, especially ongoing trauma. In a short amount of time, him and Hikiri became friends. And they became best friends. They depend on one another. They kept on motivating each other to keep on going. Their desire was to get free, to go out in the world, to experience life, to be away from the suffering and chaos. Naruto told her everything about himself. Unfortunately though, Naruto was 8. He was 8 years old now when it happened. Another rival group hated this man. The one that was in charge of this little, atrocity. He had underground connections, but there were others. And the one that wanted him gone sent a large group here after finding his location. Naruto had to watch as Hikiri pushed him out of the way. She pushed him. The walls exploded. The enemies rushed inside. He was confused. He looked around. However, he felt her hands pushed him away, only for the kunais that were thrown to take down the others, to slam into her, one in her head, one in her back. And she fell. And that is how he was in this situation. Naruto had to watch the only person in this world that he cared about die in front of his eyes. It triggered something inside of him. You see, there was a reason why Naruto's power was out of control. Everyone had anger, everyone had hate inside of them, but Naruto Uzumaki was born with a special way of controlling this hate inside of him. Others felt hate and they felt rage, but it was all that. Some might use it to fuel their strength. Anger bursts, rageful events, blackouts. There were all sorts of ways to use it. But Naruto Uzumaki was special. His hatred turned to something else. It turned into curse energy. Upon feeling negative emotions, Naruto, all of that turned into pure, raw curse energy. His body was supplying this energy, along with chakra as well, which was what made him so different, which was what made him so special, but also his curse as well. Over the years, the Nine-Tails power had been fighting off this unknown substance, which was leading to the outburst of the chakra simply taking over. However, since being kidnapped and taken, the amount of negative emotion that Naruto was feeling was so overwhelming that the beast chakra was not reaching him anymore. And it created that imbalance. So he would not be able to truly use his power. He would not be able to truly, ever, be a ninja. However, Naruto had been through so much. He believed that there was nothing else that could truly affect him, but as he watched her die, as he watched the light slip from her eyes, as he watched her take her final breath, everything changed. As he held her body in his hands, Naruto's eyes snapped open wide. 3 men arrived in the room as others were heading this way. Gato said that we should take any kids that we see. One of them spoke. Subconsciously, Naruto heard the name, but he was not in his right mind to react to said name. One of the men noticed something. What the hell is wrong with that brat, he said. From the inner depths of Naruto's eye, it shattered. It was almost like he were looking at the heavens, upside down, and the water of a vast, unstretched ocean. The blue within his eyes, the clarity, everything changed. It was like cracks spreading outwards, creating a rippling effect. His eyes glow with uncontrollable power. Everything froze in that moment, in a white void of crystal. It was like the perfect clarity. Everything was frozen. Naruto's body levitating to the air. As he saw it, he saw everything. He saw their faces. He saw their bonds. He saw their chakra. He saw the small specks. He saw everything awaken in the depths of what truly linger, known as the six eyes. Naruto got perfect clarity as he was able to see everything. The mechanics of the universe, it literally poured into his mind. Curse energy manipulation became limitless chakra understanding in that moment. Blue, attraction, red, repulsion, and purple, annihilation. They manifested as chakra constructs as he saw them, each and every inner detail of them all. His perception time had come to a complete stop as he could count everything in the air, every single particle. This power alone was crazy, beyond true understanding. However, inside of Naruto's body, as a cursed energy ruptured and tried to take over, the nine-tailed fox refused to go down like that. It refused to be swallowed by this unknown energy. The beast released so much power due to Naruto's system being weak because the cursed energy was trying to, overtake it. Trying to be the only constant energy. The nine-tailed chakra was pouring through the bars. Fail-safes were triggered. Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki emerged, both of them looking shocked. Before they could say anything or do anything, the cursed energy lashed onto them. It was like a struggle, a fight. Naruto's body was like a hybrid, but it refused to synchronize. Both of them were swallowed as the beast roared, releasing so much power. A collision happened, supercharging Naruto chakra points. All of Naruto chakra kick-started with a boom in that moment. And when the two godly forces slammed together, instead of clashing, something phenomenal happened. Something extraordinary happened. Curse energy and chakra crushed together as one. And instead of fighting, it was a perfect syncrecy. A small gap, a small tear, a fracture in reality, because something like this should never happen, and yet, boom, they collided together, forming something new, forming something impossible. As Naruto became a vessel for new awakening, new beginning, he became the first wielder of the new energy, Kuriton, otherwise known as Black Release. The name whispered into his mind, a fusion of chakra, spiritual and physical energy, curse energy, as negative emotion, manifested as power. Kuriton is born from despair, forged by torment, refined by hate and sorrow. Due to the properties of both energies, Kuriton is a volatile, emotional, reactive force, tremendously powerful. It takes the depth and negative of curse energy and bind it together to the balance of the vitality of chakra. Unlike chakra, it can't be naturally awakened. This was done through severe emotional trauma, mental strain, internal conflict, and rage. So much rage. But this event was astronomical. Perhaps one in a trillion, maybe even beyond that. The more intense emotions are, the stronger Kuriton become. This energy was special in many ways. Similar to the nine-tailed fox, a being that is able to generate force due to his special core, generate chakra. That was the base form of Kirtan, where it reproduced itself, growing and growing and growing and growing. And the more intense force that is leaked from this individual, the stronger it becomes, and the more dangerous it becomes. The base form of the Limitless that whisper into his mind, the base form of the six eyes that whisper into his mind, everything was amplified, everything pushed beyond their limits. However, due to this moment, due to the high intensity, Naruto was going to kick everything into overdrive, going beyond his limits, shattering any limits that might hold him. It won't be easy to truly reach this power, but now, due to the high stressful situation, you can see the depths of Kirtan. And within that moment, infinity, retract, and also repel at the same exact time, forging into something new. You could see the purple edges. They could also see it as well. All of Gato's thugs, they all enter the room. He was levitating in the air, his arms expanded to the side. Her body was wrapped up within its aura. As for everyone else, they felt it. Their entire existence was being pulled towards him. However, it crashed together with a repelling force, born in something so dangerous. Naruto blacked out. He blacked out. When he finally woke up, her body was still right there. Naruto looked around. Not only was all of the men gone, however, the entire facility was gone. But looking from up and gazing down below, you would notice that the mountain facility where this place was hidden in, the mountain had been eradicated. Not just going forward, but down as well. It was like the mountain itself was unraveled into nothingness, completely erasing the space, completely tearing through the fabric of the mountain, wiping it out. He scooped her up in his arms. His eyes glow within the darkness. All sound had ceased. His only focus was her. Not the pain that he was currently experiencing, not the suffering, but her. As he looked at her in his arms. "I'm sorry," he said, as he held her close to his body. Time skip. As the smoke left his lips, Hiruzen Saratobi leaned back in his chair, gazing through the window. There was a lot of papers on his desk, but he was not working right now. The recent news had truly startled him. It's been over 10 years. 10 years since Naruto Uzumaki was last seen within this village. Jiraiya had tried his hardest, but he was unable to locate Naruto. So, the child was listed as deceased. Hiruzen never thought that he would hear about Naruto ever again, much less the recent news that was sent by Jiraiya. The Sannin was actually at the village at the moment, having just arrived. This was much too serious to speak over just letters alone. When Jiraiya entered the office, both men were silent and simply gazing at one another, both of them knowing the topic at hand. Some time ago they had a rather nasty fight. Jiraiya was upset that Hiruzen allowed this to happen. Hiruzen made his opinion known on the matter as well. Jiraiya wasn't here not even once. He spoke about his spine at work, but Jiraiya wasn't doing his work every single day. They never resolved this. They just spoke about different matters, but the both of them believed that Naruto was gone, that someone killed him. That was the only thing that they could summarize from the situation. He was a child, without defense, without anything. There was no way that he would survive in the wild for 10 years. Hiruzen pushed every avenue, even Danzo Shamura as well. However, there was nothing. The world was unaware though. The world was not aware that Konoha lost its greatest weapon, the nine-tailed fox, as they still feared the village. A lot has happened in the past to diminish Konoha's strength, from Minato's death to the massacre of the Uchiha clan, and now the nine-tailed disappearance. Many enemies would see it as a target in haul to rain attacks down on Konoha due to their, well, diminishing strength over the years. However, as both men sit in the office, Jiraiya was able to get his hands on the latest documents. As he passed it over to Hiruzen, how much? Hiruzen questioned after skimming through it. 53 civilians connected, over 100 plus soldiers and ninjas alike. Jiraiya said, it happened not too long ago. They were trying to keep it governed and under wraps, but information like this could not be bound. In the Land of Lightning, around 3 days, up to a week ago, the Land of Lightning was attacked. Not Kumo, the Land of Lightning. The daimyo, the Lightning daimyo was killed. But it wasn't him that was killed. His entire family was eradicated. The youngest was 17 years old. The connections that his family had, the entire building was ripped to shreds. And the 50 plus civilians there were all connected to the daimyo. The daimyo being one of them, of course. The guards. The guards came face to face with the one that did this. They tried to stop him. However, it was a bloody massacre. He slaughtered them. There was a woman that came to identify the one behind this all. She said that she saw him within the capital days before, and she spoke to him. She even got his name. He said his name was Naruto Uzumaki. That was truly shocking. Beyond shocking. There were cameras. After all, this place was well protected. Photographs of him were found. And now his name was in the bingo book. Throughout history, no one has generated such a high bounty on their head. Absolutely no one. Naruto Uzumaki slaughtered a daimyo. Not just any daimyo though. The daimyo of a main country. The Land of Lightning. He erased the entire bloodline, along with those connected to the daimyo's blood. Cousins, everything, aunts. Everyone was gone. He killed 100 plus guards. They all claimed the same thing. He was untouchable. Literally, their attacks meant nothing to him. Those that survive claim it. And it was just a handful that did. The bounty on his head was truly large, like beyond anything anyone has ever seen. Hiruzen looked towards a photo. The only reason why he knew this was the same person. Names can be fabricated and all of that, but the marks, the 3 whisker marks, none of this made any sense. Absolutely none of this. Hiruzen sat there in his chair. They thought Naruto was dead, but there he was, plain and alive. However, allowing himself to be seen like this, after killing a daimyo, even giving up his own name, that act alone was foolish unless he wanted them to know who did it. Jiraiya said, almost as if he was reading the third's mind, understanding what he was thinking about. This action alone would create some international incidents. if Naruto was ever to be brought back to the village, news about this was spreading. It would not take too long for, well, old recollection to kick in and connections to be made. If this was linked back to Konoha, there was another problem that would set in. And if anyone find out that he was a host of the Nine Tails, this is bad. Much worse than Hiruzen thought. Time skip. A dignitary for the Land of Water was making his way. He wasn't within his home right now. You see, there was a lot of problems taking place within the Land of Water. Well, mostly Kiri, the village. However, there were skirmishes that were still taking place nearby, the border to his land. He was a large representative, well known in every single area, as he found himself entering another village. The caravan came to a stop as he stepped out. A brown-haired man, average height, glasses. He was surrounded by 6 guards. He saw the other representative at the gate, waiting to greet him as he stepped forward. Suddenly, someone landed within the center of their group. Confusion rocked every single guard right there. The other dignitary was pulled back immediately. One of the guard grabbed onto the water dignitary and jumped away, landing immediately. However, when he felt the full weight of the man and he turned his head, the dignitary's neck was broken. His eyes widened in shock. When? How? The others, there was no hesitation. Kunais with explosive tags. The other village was immediately alarmed as smoke filled the area. Unfortunately though, when the dust and smoke cleared, he was still standing there. Weapons were drawn as they sped towards him. The first one swung his blade, only to meet resistance. And he looked into those eyes. The moment he did, he froze up. Stepping by him, the individual did, as he vanished. The guard that was holding on to the corpse of the senator there watched as 2 of his men fell down to the ground. Someone simply phased behind them. What was this speed, he thought to himself. He shouted to the other 3 to move. However, he felt the footsteps. He felt the trembling of the ground. And their bodies fell down, lifeless. The person stood next to him. As he spoke, a whisper in his ears. "Are you afraid?" he questioned. The man was trembling as the corpse slipped from his hand. "Tell me, do you think the children and the innocent people that you terrorize in the name of your leader was also afraid?" He was more shocked to how this information was known. "Don't bother answering. After all, you're already dead." His neck split open as blood ran down his throat. He collapsed on the body of his senator. Reaching upwards, the young man pulled down the veil over his eyes. As he blitzed away, by the time the other guards arrived, it was a bloodbath. Time skip. This news immediately spiraled. In less than a month, 2 very high official names were eradicated just like that. However, the water secretary man, he wasn't the only one that was killed on that day. Not only was his guards killed as well, however, 15 more people from the same county was also slaughtered. Everyone believed it was the same person. His identity was seen. His eyes were mostly covered. The ones who lived did not see his eyes when they were revealed. It seems like he was blind, but that was too crazy to believe. Word reached Konoha once again. Hiruzen Sarutobi found himself in a meeting. There was a lot going on. Hearing about Naruto being alive was a large trigger within Konoha. As soon enough the other nations will be aware of just who exactly he was, something would slip, some information would be given, and then Konoha has to be ready. This would seem like they've trained a perfect weapon to go out and assassinate other leaders. The village had to be prepared. The village had to be ready. They had to console with the daimyo, their daimyo, and they also had to make sure that their daimyo was kept safe. If this boy is somehow going after daimyos, well, they had to make a drastic move. They weren't the only one. The winged daimyo was cautious of his own survival after hearing about the damnation of two important figures. The earth daimyo was also shocked as well. Word was sent back to Konoha from the fire daimyo palace, demanding information on this topic, because if he was not mistaken, the Uzumakis, despite their clan being eradicated, they were supposed to have ties with Konoha, and the daimyo was frightened. The land of lightning daimyo was surrounded by so much guards, and yet they were all killed and he was slaughtered. So yes, this was very terrifying and extremely scary as well. Time skip. Kill him! Someone shouted out. There were 17 men in the room. 17. Each of them holding a weapon. Speeding through the center at speeds that majority of them could not follow. He jumped. The first kick that he delivered caused the individual corpse to shatter the wall. His blows, they weren't normal. A kick was able to kill someone as he kicked him in the back of the neck. Chains, black chains, solidified across his fingers. He lashed them out and gripped a hand and pulled the person towards him. He grabbed the body and spun him around, using him to block the weapons that were thrown towards him before he tossed them back. His comrades caught him and thought it was a good idea until his vest started to glow. Boom! The man up above started to run for his life. Fear. Absolutely terrified. Moments later, the man was on his knees, pleading and begging. I'll give you anything, he said. However, when he indeed looked into those eyes, he saw it. The emptiness. And the life as well. He started to gurgle on his own blood, unaware what hit him as he collapsed. Reaching up, he pulled down the fold around his eyes, covering his vision. When he snapped his head to the right and to the left, as ninjas started to flock from the woodwork all over, gazing upwards, they were on the roof. They were underneath the ground. They were on the walls. He was surrounded. He reached up, about to expose his eyes once again, but someone stepped in the room. He could hear the footsteps. They sound soft. A woman. As a person emerged, showing her burgundy hair, she gazed towards him. Her eyes dazzling through the night, watching him perfectly. All the light was off. He was barely visible due to the darkness of his clothing. However, the blood dripping from the weapon in his hand, you could hear it make contact with the ground. I am not here to fight you, she said to him, ironic, given the numbers. A simple precaution. After all, there is something I would like to know. Gajio. That was the name of the dignitary that you killed. From the land of water. Most people believe that he was a very standard man that believes in the rightful things that he's doing, but I know better. He's a scum. He has set up many international trades but not for goods or services, but for children and women, even male laborers. Tell me, is that the reason why you kill him? What if I say no? Well, I believe it is. The 15 men that you killed, those people are all linked to it. My people have been investigating them for some time now. And these people that you just killed, this family, rather high in the social life. However, they have their own business. And because of them, thousands have died. Either drugs, kidnapping, fruitless chaos that they started because it benefited them in ways that others couldn't understand. So that's how you found me. Exactly. I followed the trail. I believe you hadn't left the land of water just yet. And this man, I believe, was your second target. And it seems I was right. My people had to do a lot to not be detected by you. The closer we got, the more that we saw. Your senses started to notice us. So we had to back off. She stepped further into the room. So, everyone believed that you're some kind of monster. But, while your name is on the line, you're simply going after the darkness in this world. So if my assumption is right, the land of lightning daimyo was mixed up in a lot. Before she could say another word, she felt his breath on her neck. As the others flocked into the room, they were startled. Don't presume like you know me. Yes, these people deserve punishment and death because they went after kids. I hate people that do things like that. But if you think I'm some kind of saint, if you think I'm some kind of weapon of justice, you're wrong. I kill for my benefit. I kill for my own survival. Just like I will kill everyone here if you choose to attack me. First of all, those people that you've killed so far, they were good. But everyone that surrounds you right now is Jonin level. Some of them even higher. I specially picked this team to come after you and me. Let's just say that I'm a level above. You're strong, but you really believe that you can take all of us out and leave this place alive? She questioned. He started to chuckle. She felt his breath. It tingled her neck. Do you want to find out? He questioned her. Unfortunately, no, I do not, she said. As I said, they're just here for precaution. I simply wish to ask for your help. My help? No, that's surprising. The recent known killer, a murderer, someone that has committed so much rather atrocious act. You want to ask for my help? Yes, exactly. After all, it won't seem like any big thing. If you do it now, would it? And you believe I would simply help you? Well, there will be compensation. Also, I believe this person is right in your alley. After all, you've been going after the wicked. Even if you do kill for pleasure or for your own delight, I believe that this person would be on your list. You know, you're a rather brilliant woman, he whispered in her ears. All of this was just a test. You're not truly aware of how strong I am, but this should give you enough answers, using your people around you, to test my strength with your words alone. I commend you for your actions. So, tell me, who is this person? She was surprised that he was so agreeable. His name is Yagura. You mean the fort, Mizukage, he questioned. Yes. And if things continue the way they are, thousands will die. So the Mad King, said Naruto. Seems you already know a lot, she said. Judging by your words, I wouldn't say a lot, but I presume I know enough. So you're the rebellion forces. Many believe that you're just a myth. Many believe that it's just a few people hidden within the shadows, but you seem to be much more organized than anyone believes. Yes, that we are. We have one opportunity, she said. He is going to be making a move very soon. Around 2 weeks away from now, and our strength is limited. I need to focus our strength on the village. After all, he has no compassion to fight. In or outside of the village, he will create mass genocide and destruction all around him as long as he gets his way in the end. And unfortunately, I have to choose the village above everything else. So even though majority of these people have stuck around, they had no choice. They had to stay behind. It was their home. Most of them had nothing to do with this. There's only a select few behind, the true tyranny that listen without hesitation. There's only a few that she went quiet. Despise the bloodline users, he said. Exactly, she said. Our strength is limited. Taking on the village to ensure complete removal of those stains that will cause further destruction, and taking him on at the same time is impossible. We need more strength. We need someone strong enough to hold him off until the village is secure, and until force can arrive and bat that person up. I have to be at the village to ensure that things go smoothly, to ensure the power is there to quickly finish things off, to make sure that the people, the children, everyone survive. Are you trying to play on my sympathy, believing that I will be concerned? Because you speak of children, he said. She did not answer, as he leaned his head right on her shoulder. I can feel it, and also see it. Your coursing emotions. There's no need for you to use your words. I know you're telling the truth, he said. Your people have suffered for a long time, and all you desire is aid. No other country or village would aid you this way because they would always go for the tyranny instead of the revolt. And now, you're coming to me because you're so desperate, and you believe that I might be your salvation because of what I've done so far, and the fact that I don't seem to be too concerned that my name is out there and being tarnished as, well, a homicidal maniac. Then again, what if I want them to know about me? What if I want them to know who was behind all of this? That would give you more than enough reason to come and face me face to face. It would be a big enough chance for me to aid you if my goals are what truly fit your scenario. Well, she said. Seems I'm not only the smart one here. He slowly removed himself from her, backing away. As he turned his back. I'll be in touch. Wait. How will you? I'll find you, he said. With that, he vanished away, leaving her with more questions than answers. A lot was revealed, but she was desperate. This will be their only chance. Yagra had safeguards to ensure that there would be a lot of destruction. She couldn't afford for her people to suffer. She wanted to lead the village, bring it to prosperity. You couldn't have anything without the village standing after all. The one that gave her this information, well, he could not do this once again after all. There was only a small handful that knew about this. And if this time passed, he would be killed. He will be found out, so he was risking his life. So she was desperate, having nowhere else to turn. Someone that can walk into a capital and remove her entire family. Seems like a monster, but as she started to focus on things, as she started to go back to information that they were aware about, you see, the two men that was killed in the land of water, the high dignitaries, they enjoy the chaos reigning because It allowed them to do whatever they please. They have been watched by her and her forces. So seeing them dead, she came to the conclusion that this man wasn't a monster as everyone thought. However, he said he would find them. But they had weeks. She needed to create a backup plan. He was strong enough to fight every single one of them despite her telling him that all of them were Jonines. It wasn't overconfidence. It was someone that believed in their strength without an absolute doubt. That is why she needed his help. Meanwhile, Naruto reappeared a distance away. As he gazed up towards the heavens, he was dressed in all black. It was barely seeable in the night sky. Naruto's face was covered, his eyes to be quite exact. It was the sensory overload. It was heavy on him. You see, Naruto's mind was processing everything. The collaboration of chakra and curse energy. He was processing everything. Negative emotions, chakra spurt, chakra, everything. Think of a Hyuga, seeing the chakra overloading, and it affects their eyes, but imagine that 100 times worse. So if he was not using his eyes, well, it became overwhelming. But even with the blindfold, Naruto could see rather well, as he no longer truly needed his eyes to see. Blocking his vision was not something that would aid the enemy. So much has taken place in the past couple of years. So much. Naruto has been through hell. Hell and back. And again and again and again. Naruto knew that he possessed great power. However, he had no teacher. He had no sensei. He had no one. Just loneliness. Rage. So much rage inside of him. Naruto had gotten to work. Days after he put her to her final resting place. Days after he buried his one and only true friend in this world. She was gone. Naruto realized that if he was going to make changes, if he was going to do something, he would need to become strong. He would need to become a god amongst men. He was free. And he's got the power like he's always wanted. But he needed to learn how to use it. He needed to learn how to properly control it, because there was so much of it and it was out of control. It wasn't until later that Naruto learned that his power was split in different categories. When he was 8 years old though, the rage, he released everything at once and erased so many people. However, it was much later that he found out about the infinity. There was a space between himself. Think of a space that kept on multiplying and keep on going and going and going and going and going and going. So no one could truly touch him. However, this would be powerful and untouchable on its own, but you see, Naruto didn't just have curse energy. His chakra was entwined in the curse energy, which had its downfalls, but it also had its uplifting as well. There was curse blue, which allowed him to attract matter towards him. Curse red, which allowed him to repel matter. And then you had the collaboration of them both, which created something vastly more dangerous when the both of them curved in together. This on its own was deadly, but empowered by chakra, it became another sense of the word, as Naruto power was also the aspect of space as well, in many different forms. But he had something special for that. Spiral warping allows him to teleport by, folding space. It might seem like just speed, but it wasn't just speed alone. But the way he used it, it seems like he was simply too fast. And not to mention the 6 eyes that gave him central data. Naruto never had anyone to train him. No scrolls, no books. So he had to go by observation of the world, trial and error on himself. There was a lot there. Battle, that he did not expect to survive. Meditation, manipulating his own emotions to also trigger effects. Naruto had to go by all of this, and it was hard. It was difficult. When he was around age 8 to 10, he discovered blue in a moment of rage and imploded the side of a mountain. As he learned that it wasn't only emotions that fuel his power, it wasn't only fear, hate, and guilt. He could generate this power as well in different ways, a source that no one else seemed to possess. He read books. He tried to find some glimpse of it about the past, but absolutely nothing. He started to see layers of space, the folding of the layers of space in front of him through his 6 eyes. He couldn't control it. He couldn't control himself. There was a lot of accidental deaths because of this, a lot that he caused. He carved every single tally into a stone of those that he accidentally killed, and that was resting in a special place. From age 11 to 12, Naruto built a cursed temple in no man's land using spatial folding. His abilities were developing at a rather insane rate. He learned to manage the amount of attraction with blue to lessen the impulse. As he started to use mathematics to guide the physics of his attacks, he started to train blindfolded so he can rely on only spatial data, not physical feedbacks. He said it to himself, if you can't see your enemy, make the space around you your eyes. During the age of 13 to 14, he discovered red through rejection and disgust and rage when he saw, just like what happened to him and his only true friend in this world, the same thing that they went through. There was a lot more others going through it. He witnessed this, a warlord. There was so much innocence. The destruction that he caused, the explosion going outwards, it frightened him. To the amount of power that he truly possessed, it frightened him. As he started to meditate to merge the two together, using purple in that time, well, he only used it in empty places because whenever he did, he lost control, and then, well, the destruction was catastrophic. At the age of 15, there was a lot of meditation as he learned to anchor himself, to properly control himself. And he had help, mental help of course. He thought about her. He thought about their dream, to be free. And he wanted to be free. It helped him calm himself down, relax, and bring them together. It helped him control the rage. Use the rage, use the sadness, use the guilt, to not let it overwhelm him, to use it. Naruto also started to push himself to reject invincibility, allowing himself to get wounded during his practice, allowing himself to experience pain. After all, if he does not bleed in training, he won't bleed when it truly matters. He was now 16 years old, and majority of his training had paid off in the most wonderfulest way possible. As Naruto, power was greater than he could ever even imagine. However, a lot of it was still yet to be truly mastered, as Naruto did not know what he was. Perhaps he was a human, but he possessed powers that no human should actually wield. And if he truly learned to master it to its fullest, entire nations would crumble at a word. But for now, there was still limitation. The Limitless was one of the bigger one of these. By itself, the Limitless was incredibly powerful. However, due to chakra merging with his cursed energy, chakra created kind of a downfall. You see, chakra was causing the Limitless to behave in a way like a spatial distortion. And that was not the way it was supposed to behave. Naruto has tried for some time now, and his trials and error was paying off. Using the Limitless for a long amount of time would cause, well, vertigo, nosebleeds, and spatial senses to be all over the place, affecting him much worse than when his eyes are uncovered. His body would be untouchable for a while, but Naruto knew the time must be much longer. His time right now is short. Yes, the time was short. However, he used that time rather beneficially to make it seem like he was truly untouchable forever, but in reality that wasn't the case. So that was one of the many downfalls of, well, this new energy. Naruto believed, without a doubt, that he was the only one in the world that possessed power like this. People are only now just knowing about him because the people that he's killed in the past, those people were dabbling in darkness, and their existence were not supposed to be public. But now that he's taken down a daimyo, that man and his family they were a virus on this earth. They were dabbled in crimes that you can't even truly understand. Thousands of children, thousands of innocents died because of their greed, died because of their power. Naruto did not care much about these people. Naruto had a desire now, a different goal, a different way that he wanted to create, a different understanding. He knows that with power, he's seen it. There would always be objections, but that is why Naruto was still training. That is why Naruto was opening up avenues every single day. After all, what can a mere man do to a god? He believed that his powers were fit perfectly for him, the way he was able to bend and manipulate space. Naruto wished to create a true, safe space. A space that he would govern. A space that he would see go through the rest of time. There was so much that he wished to do, but he needed to become stronger. He needed to break every single limitation, and he believed with the power at his disposal, he will be able to. And finally, after so much years, Naruto was closer than he ever thought. Yes, he was. Before he killed that last man, he got a bit of information. Turns out that Gato was within the land of water. Naruto has been searching for Gato for some time now. He came across a few of his businesses, and let's just say that Gato lost a lot over the years. Gato was terrified. At the moment he was in hiding away from Naruto because he was being hunted down. Naruto would be sticking around to the end when he can look Gato in the eyes. That man was on his list. Naruto remembered the name that was called. He remembered the life that was taken away from him that day. And that man will be one that he brings down before any other moves. He was strong enough and confident in his strength to step out in public. And Gato claimed to be a public working man, but he was currently hiding away within the land of water. And Naruto was going to find him. The woman came to his mind, willing to risk her own secrets by coming out to him like that. She was desperate. Naruto was currently residing in Kiri. He understood why. The building that he was sitting down on. As he looked towards the populace down below. Normally, by a normal eye, everything would look alright, but Naruto could see it. This wasn't a village governed by love and protection. This was a village governed by rules, by a tyrant. Suspected members that wheel bloodlines were still within the village, hiding, keeping their bloodline at bay, forced to hide away from what they truly were. As Naruto gazed towards the tower, he then disappeared, making his way off. Time skip. Maid Terumi returned back. As she was underground, there were bases all over the place. She was planning accordingly to ensure that she would be able to make a next move. It had to be done. Something had to be She almost jumped out of her skin as she felt the hand rested on her. However, when he spoke, she knew who it was. She was also shocked. How did he get in here? How did he bypass all the security? That was shocking and impressive at the same time. She has seen photos, but she hadn't seen his face in reality. As he stood behind her, "I will help you," he said. "But there is something that I will need for my assistance." But guys, me ends up so right here. If you want to see more of this, just comment down below and tell me, and I'll be posting more as soon as possible. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.